Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're in my front room, as you can see. Well, you don't know it's my front room, but we're in the front room. It's currently -2 here in Ireland. I was going to do this video in the back of the van, but it's far too cold for me. I'm a bit of a wimp. I do love the cold though. So yeah, look, welcome. You're in the front room. I want to talk about today the gear that I have, kind of the stuff I take out everywhere, so it's always in my van. And I also want to talk about, as a beginner, what gear you should buy and probably not buy. Now, you can do what you want, it's up to you, but just a bit of friendly advice, not to waste your money on stuff that you might not need just yet. So stay tuned and we'll get going. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the gear that I carry every day. It's always in the van. Sometimes, some weeks, some months, it doesn't get used, but it's always there. If you watched the last video about adapting quickly to different scenarios in jobs, like that's one thing with the tree game. You can make a plan for a job before you go to it. But I can almost guarantee nearly every job there's going to be changes. So it's good to have the gear to hand all the time, in my opinion. It's no good if it's stored away in your shed or back in the yard. It's pointless. You're only going to lose time going backwards and forwards. So I carry a set kit all the time. It's always in the back of the van, and I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to start from the very basics to the more advanced stuff that I have. So obviously, as a tree climber, you're going to need a harness. So this is my harness. I chose the Current harness. Anyone looking to buy a harness, I love this one. So I'm a slightly bigger guy. I'm not skinny anyway, and it's got a nice enough wide back on it. As you can see, it's quite nice and wide. A good cheap harness, actually, if you're looking for one, which I highly recommend, is a Tree Hug harness. Now, some people are brand whores and think, oh, that's a crap brand, I don't want that. My opinion is, it's fantastic. The buckles on this are exactly mirror image of what's on the Tree Hug. Same thing. The back on the Tree Hug is big and wide. There's good amount of attachments, like places you can attach stuff. So yeah, just a bit of friendly advice if you're on a budget. This is about, in Ireland, it's about €350, something like that. I think the Tree Hug you can get for less than 300. So if you're on a budget, you can go for the Tree Hug. So yeah, anyway, harness. Lanyard. Now I use a rope grab. This is a Current rope grab. You can use a pulley and a hitch cord. You can use, there's many little gadgets you can use, but that's what I use. Obviously 2 carabiners, one to connect the rope grab to the harness, and then your clip to clip back around the tree and back onto the other side of the harness here. Yeah, that's that. A rope, of course, you're going to need a rope. So this is an 11.5mm rope. So it's good for pretty much anything: hitch climber, zigzag, prusik if you want to use a prusik. That's a good piece of kit. Now, actually, before we move on, I think it's a very good idea to carry a prusik on your harness at all times. Now, I'm not doing that at the minute, but I will be doing it, because if your zigzag breaks, or you see a crack in it when you're halfway up the tree, or your hitch climber cord is slipping, whatever reason, a part of your system is not working, you can pull that prusik off and you're safe. You can get back down the tree. So just a little tip there. Silky. I think every climber should have one of these on their harness. Now, as you can see, the silky is not actually in it because I lost it the other day. So that's on order. But yeah, I think you should always have a silky attached to you. Now let's go into some more advanced stuff. A steel core lanyard. Now this is great for chunking down trees. So when you're blocking down trees, this is a great piece of equipment to have. I don't use it a lot. I probably use it less than I should. This is great because it's going to be very hard if you slip and accidentally put the blade of your saw on it. It's going to be very hard for that blade to go through. I'm not saying it won't, but it definitely shouldn't do. So piece of equipment I think you should definitely have is that steel core lanyard. It does the exact same job as this lanyard. It's more rigid. It's very good for spiking up. If you know you've just got that stability when you're spiking up. So that's another bit of kit. Now we get into a few more technical bits. So a dead-eye sling. That's for rigging. Very handy. It's nice and light, easy to carry up the tree. I like that a lot. It's about 50 euro for that. So I don't know what that would be in the UK or America, but about 50 euro for that. Pulleys, carabiners, lots of carabiners. I've got loads of carabiners. A rigging plate. Now, I'm not going to explain everything about these things. Use it for ziplining, you can use it for loads of things. That'll be another video. So the carabiners, always, I think it's a very good thing to have plenty of carabiners. A sling, also for rigging. So not too much to explain about that. That's just for setting up rigging, porter wraps, stuff like that. Just a wee block there. You can do light rigging on that. It's actually for redirects and stuff. So again, I'm not going to go through all that stuff. The cambium saver. This one is a bit more advanced than the normal cambium saver. So a cambium saver is what it says. The cambium is the layer beneath the bark. So this, instead of just tying your rope around wherever you're anchoring in, you tie this round and then you stick your rope through these two eyes. So if you can imagine, this is the limb, you stick that around that. The beauty of this one is you can adjust it. So you can tighten it, or you can go around bigger stuff. You can loosen it and go around bigger stuff. But this is where you'll put your rope through, and that will now be your anchor. So when you're moving up, especially on double rope system, you're going to be rubbing on the cambium. But with this, it's a cambium saver. So that's a nice bit of kit. That's pretty much everything in that bag. Then I have, if you're a returning viewer, you'll know that I've been doing SRT. So this is my SRT kit. I have my throw ball and the rope. The famous knee ascender. Again, if you're a returning viewer, you'll know why that's famous. Chicane. Zigzag. Now I do use the zigzag actually on the double rope system, and I'm liking it now. I remember I got it years ago and I wasn't too keen on it, but I'm actually liking it a lot now for the double rope system. But I'm also using it for the single rope system. Foot ascender and a nice shiny 180 foot long rope. So that's that gear. And then my zipline kit. So basically there's nothing major in here, it's just steel carabiners and web slings. So for ziplining. If you don't know what ziplining is, keep an eye on the channel. We're going to be doing a video soon on ziplining, explaining the setup and just watching how it works. So if you're interested, keep an eye on the channel. I'd say around the Christmas break, there should be a few videos coming out on ziplining. So that's them. Yellow ones are longer, blue ones are shorter. Simple. Now there's a few more bits that goes into ziplining. Setting it up at the bottom is probably the most complicated part. We're going to show you that on the day. But yeah, that's my zipline kit. So that's the gear I carry around. It's always in my van. Even if I'm going to a job where I absolutely don't think I'm going to be using it, it's still there just in case, because you never know. Customer could ask for something else to be done, and then you've got the gear there. And like, if you didn't watch the last video, it's about adapting to different scenarios. So if you want to go back and watch that, this will make more sense to you if you haven't watched it. So the more kit you have, the more you know how to use it, easier jobs become for yourself. I'm still learning on a lot of this stuff. I think that's what makes people actually passionate, because there's always a step more to go, which is always a good thing, I think. And it's endless in tree work. If you're thinking about getting into it, if you set yourself goals, there's always going to be new goals. It's not like you finish one and then there's nothing else to do. Even the best of best climbers in the world will always have something else to learn, something else to get better at. So it's brilliant. Right, rambling again. So I'll go through the gear. If you're a beginner now, I'll go through the gear that I think would be worth your while buying, and I'll tell you the bits that you shouldn't probably bother, because you'll just be wasting money. So obviously, harness, you're going to need one of them, and a rope. Obviously going to need them two bits, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. So extra bits of gear that I think would be good for a beginner climber is this. So the cambium saver, adjustable cambium saver, or you can just get a normal cambium saver. They're good because you're obviously saving the tree from getting damaged, which is good, especially if you're doing pruning jobs. I mean, if you're doing takedowns, so removing the tree completely, you don't need to put it in. It does give you a bit of a smoother ride when you're moving up and down, but you don't necessarily need to use it on takedowns. But if you're doing pruning jobs or just maintenance, crown thinning, crown raising, be a good habit to get into of using these. So I think that's a good piece of kit to buy for a beginner. So cambium saver, adjustable cambium saver, whatever you want to call it. There's many names. What else? Yeah, I would definitely suggest getting one of these guys. So a steel lanyard. Now they come in at around, I'd say around €150, something like that. So whatever you can compare that in dollars or pounds. Yeah, that's definitely a piece of kit, because it's more safety with this. You know, it's gonna, if you do happen to slip and cut into it, you're probably not going to break through it. Where your normal lanyard, the minute your sword touches that, if it's under pressure, if you're leaning back on this rope and you cut into that, good luck if you haven't got a second anchor. So yes, this for a beginner, good investment, definitely. And I should be using it more often. I'm just lazy sometimes, but that's not a good thing. You need to use these things. A silky, 100% get one of these. I'm going to have to reorder one for myself because I lost it, but definitely good. And you should use this as much as possible. If you don't need to use the saw, use the hand silky. What else, guys? What else? Plenty of carabiners. So you can never have too many carabiners, in my opinion. There's not really a shelf life on them. So it doesn't matter if you buy 100 of them, as long as you maintain them, clean them. I can show you that in another video. It's very simple, it's nothing technical. But plenty of carabiners, you can never have too many of them. They easily get lost as well, so. That, yeah. That's pretty much it, guys. As far as beginner climbers, I wouldn't go spending much more than that. The likes of dead-eye slings for rigging and stuff, unless you're at a level where you know how to use these things. Personally, if you're up trees where you need to rig, I think you're probably a step too far for your capabilities. So unless you've got the confidence going around a tree and bringing trees down, and you've got that confidence, I would forget about buying rigging gear, because there's a shelf life on this stuff. So you could spend 60 quid on this, 50, 60 quid on that, other bits and bobs. Before you know it, you spent 200-300 quid, and the stuff is sitting there for a year, 2 years, and then you go and get it loaded, which is a test that you have to have on your climbing gear. So they check that everything's good. Some things go out of date. It's ridiculous, but some things go out of date, even if they're in perfect condition. So if you're on official sites, big companies, and something goes wrong and your gear's out of date, fucked. So I wouldn't go wasting money on this stuff as a beginner climber. Not until you get to the point where you're confident that you're going to use it, you're confident to use it, and that you're confident that you're going to have enough jobs through the year for it to make sense to buy. So that's it, guys. I hope this video helped you. If there's any questions of other stuff, throw it into the comments. As I always say, the experienced guys, throw your comments in. It's been brilliant, excellent. All the guys commenting, and it's all been positive. It's been very positive. So I'm very happy to spend this little bit of time to try and help someone. And look, as you can see, it's nearly Christmas. If this video, I don't know when this video is coming out, so if it's Christmas now, Merry Christmas, guys, and I'll see you next week.